Hi everyone, I hope you are having a great time. Today I'm going to share a very exciting product and wonderful sounding tube integrated amplifier X9 from MusicShare using two 300B tubes and two 274B tubes branded with MusicShare name on it. The 274B tubes are, I believe those are using it as the rectifier tubes. For the pre-tubes, it uses the 2-Tanso 6SL7 tubes and Electro-Harmonix 26SN7 Russian tubes. It has 4 different inputs: heavy-duty balanced input with 3 RCA input for phono, line, and CD inputs. The volume control is right amount of resistance and just nicely, smoothly it can turn. For the remote control is just gain and mute function. And this X9M can be also used as the power amplifier if you just slide the switch on the front to pre-in. In my case, I only use it as an integrated amplifier. Headphone amplifier stage is okay, get the job done. To adjust in the tube bias, you have to use this knob. It has knob on each side. Right now it's at the meter and you can turn it off if you like. That's the bias, exactly as a spec. Let me show you on this side. Almost perfect. I need tiny bit more on this side. So I'm gonna adjust it using this flathead screwdriver. You just need to increase tiny bit. I think I got it in a perfect position. If you look at this 60 number at the bottom line on VU meter, so these VU meters are good to have, and I'm not really big fan of auto biasing, and this one also feature hum balance. So just to fine tune if you are getting hum, after adjusting it you can keep it off or you can go back to meter. This side, same thing. And also this one is featuring negative feedback circuit, so which is you can enable it by sliding the switch to number 1 position. So in theory, negative feedback design is take a little bit out of input stage, a little bit out of output stage, and it will recreate different kind of voltage, so you will get -3 decibel, so which help reduce the noise. In my opinion, that is only beneficial in high gain situation if you're playing very loud. In my case, I don't use it because it sounds a little unnatural, and then the tube glow and all purpose of tube sound signature, the sweetness of 300B tube is very much reduced in overall sound reproduction. For me, I would rather use as it from the tube output stage instead of enabling that negative feedback circuit. Overall build quality is very nice. High quality aluminum front and top with very good power transformer. The power transformers, as far as I understand, they are using Japanese Elco transformers. Weight is tremendously heavy, even compared to my Acuphase E4000 or the MusicShare X7. The quality of transformer is significantly improved over X7. I've seen lesser build quality tube amps are selling $7,000 in the United States. X9 come with 4 ohm, 8 ohm, and 16 ohm taps. Most of my music listening, when I'm using this JBL, I'm using 4 ohm taps. This S1EX Towers, I'm using 8 ohm taps. When I pair with this S1EX Towers, sound is incredible cohesiveness and richness in overall frequency range. The mid-range is to die for, especially the vocals. Some may find the highs are slightly rolled off. I find it to be needing a little bit of sparkle, so I was using Mogami Gold cable, so I end up changing it to Monos Audio pure silver XLR cable between DAC and X9, Vibox Audio pure silver RCA cable between X9 phono stage and my turntable. So that is highly beneficial to get the little sparkle that I want to get out, right? Another thing that I like to point out is before I change the cable, the continuous cymbal strikes and hi-hat strikes and the continuous striking with the drumstick, those kind of notes are not as high in definition. When I change it to silver interconnect, those notes are more refined with better definition and more resolution that it can deliver, so which is great improvement that I like to mention. So back to mid-range, right? Mid-range is to die for. Vocals and voices are so smooth, so rich, and so natural. The vocals, right? Sometimes singer made a slight movement or slight adjustment, the mouth or head position, those kind of minor things are clearly noticeable, as well as giving me very nice and accurate yet very easy to listen, absolutely musical. I mean, I don't know if I can get better mid-range in this price point of $2,500. And another thing is the upper bass quality, right? Upper bass notes are very well-rounded yet pronounced with richness in overall sound quality. I wouldn't call this as a warm sound. It has a nice and rich and natural sound with tube glow in it without overdoing anything. Not too warm, not too rich, just nicely balanced sound signature that this X9 can deliver, which is very, very impressive. I wish I have known this amplifier before I went through all the different tube amps or solid state amps. So another most impressive out of this 8-watt integrated amplifier is quality of the bass, the depth and richness and articulation that it can deliver. But one thing you will not hear is tightness and tautness will not be there. It has nice and rich, well-refined bass quality. As it came from the factory, that's overall sound quality is. I wouldn't change a thing. For me personally, phono amplifier stage is good to have. It has very good standard phono preamplifier quality that you will get. In my case, I'm using Sony HA-T30 step-up transformer to pair with my Denon DL301 moving coil cartridge. I will have all the pairing components in the video description. So I'm using this Sony as a music server, Eversolo DMP A8 as a streamer and DAC, and the AKM chip combination with this X9 works really well. I tried a few different DACs as well, like SMS SUX, Musician Pegasus 2, along with this DMP A8 from Eversolo. So AKM chip based Eversolo DMP A8 sounded the best for my taste. It has a richness and deep bass quality with super sweet and natural mid-range and voices and vocals that it can deliver. So I stick with this AKM chip-based DAC in this pairing. So sound quality, nothing but impressive. Price is incredibly good for sound quality that it can deliver. If you compare it to X7, this is head and shoulder above in sound quality. Please don't get fooled by 8 watts of power output. That is high quality 8 watts that you will get. I pushed it pretty hard, like maximum is around 94 dB range, with peaks is around 9900 dB range that I pushed with this 8-watt power output from this X9 300B amplifier using these two speakers. So when I was pushing it, as recorded that you will see it here, is using this S1EX towers, and even if you pushing it above 90 dB range, it will be still producing good quality sound. But when you reach to 94, 95 dB peaks, what I can start to notice is starting to run out of the juice. So that's the only thing. But overall sound quality still remain the same. Doesn't matter how loud you are playing. And when I try my low level listening, like 50 to 65 dB range, volume control on this X9 will be around 8 o'clock position, and nice detail that I can still hear, so which is very impressive. The way that it delivers is subtle compared to solid state amps or even the KD88 based X7, right? The resolution and detail and micro detail, everything is there, but slightly polite manner of reproduction, yet it has naturalness and richness to it to enjoy your music. So which is incredible to me, because I'm not sure if I can get any amplifier better than this under $5,000. Only downside is gonna be people who wants to play super loud, right? But that is even doable if you use high sensitive speakers like Klipschons or big JBLs. You can do that, right? In my system, pairing these two speakers, I have no problem listening and enjoying at my reference level, which is around 75 dB average, 80 dB peaks. So that is my average listening level, because I sit 12 feet away. Even that in this room is 26 by 16, and it has no problem filling the room. And also I connected to my active subwoofer using Canadian 4S8 quad cable from X9 terminals. I have no problem pairing with the subwoofer, but in my main system I do not pair with the subwoofer because I love the way they sound. I love the way that it can deliver deep and rich bass sound quality out of pairing with these two speakers. JBL L100 Classic 75th bass quality and musicality is probably the best I've ever heard in terms of the vocals and bass quality. Soundstage and width and depth, it's just perfect. I can go on and on because I love the way it sounds so much that I can't recommend you enough. So it's musical, magical, and reasonably priced for what you can get. So highly recommended wholeheartedly, my friend. Thank you for watching and happy listening.
Let's go downtown and walk around tonight. Let's go sit across some tables go downtown and walk around tonight where the river flows along the stony bridges.